G'day listeners, Aaron here. Before we begin, I've recently been on a rampage fixing the volume levels across all the episodes. So if you find this episode or any of the others to be too loud or even too quiet, please hit us up on the Twitters at Thrash and Treasure and let us know. So you might have noticed that I've recently swapped over the end theme with the beginning theme, so now episodes start off a lot nicer. So we just want to make this the best possible show for you guys and to honour these remarkable guests. And speaking of which, on with the show.
Welcome to the Blooming League of Original Podcasts.
G'day and welcome to another super edition of Thrash and Treasure, the Torture Chamber musical comedy podcast where we only serve beer on tap that tastes like a puddle of mud. And speaking of tap that, yeah, you would, because I'm Aaron and I'm joined as usual by my co-host. And if he were a Spice Girl, he'd be Try So Hard Spice. No, wait. He'd be Bread Spice. It's Evan, the metal man. How you doing?
Good.
How's the weather today? Because we're storming here, so if I drop out, mate, it's all on your shoulders.
No, it's sunny in WA as usual.
I'm expecting it to suddenly flood at any second. The backyard is already one big giant puddle. But anyways, guess what?
What?
We have another marvelous diva in the studio today, and as Guardians go, she's ready to Ragnarok our realm. So dim the lights because we're low-key excited to be joined by a spunky croonster who went to soldier herself into the spotlight as a sweet 16-year-old when her soulful sound sent Stan straight to the SMS, which subsequently shuttled this songstress from the semi-finals to the top 10 of the second season of Australian Idol, de-shackling us all so we could bear witness to this apple of our isle grow into one hella of a gorgeous gal who gained the galaxy's gaze as a giggling golden Asgardian god who grasped Scourge's gaze before cockblocker Thor and his slimy head ruined the party. And whilst this tremendous Tassie talent was seen and not heard in the MCU, I heard she would be seen in The Invisible Man until she sadly turned all titular and disappeared. But luckily, this multifaceted artist caught the hungry gaze of crocodiles with her recent role as Dinner in Blackwater Abyss, but to have a love of monsters only helped her as Ava in Love and Monsters before bouncing back in time and blossoming in bloom, plus battling the brainy brats on Australia's Brainiest Kid, as well as the slimy sea creatures of Summer Bay. It was no surprise to anyone to see her pop into Wakefield for some serious therapy. Odin, she left her mark on season 6 of The X Factor, proving exactly why she's the Golden Idol. So please help me in saying a huge g'day to this vivacious Valkyrie with velvety vocals as Diva ventures into our torture chamber after letting us use her song Knock You Out on the Bloop Network. And thankfully, she is here today to knock us out because she's the absolutely astonishing actress, singer, songwriter, and cinematic final girl. She's Amali Golden. Yay! Welcome to the torture chamber.
That was amazing.
That was a disaster. For those listeners at home, I got my pages all mixed up. One was left across the room, so that was just completely...
It was part of the thrill. It was part of the thrill for me. No, that was good. That actually, it walked me down memory lane, some of those things that I'd forgotten about.
Yes, I have been down a little trip down memory lane, revisiting some of your Idol performances lately.
Oh, yeah.
When was the last time you checked them out?
It's been a while. It's been a long while, actually, probably a few years at least.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I did see Shackles on... Do you follow... what are they called? I've forgotten what they're called now. This meme page of Australian Idol memes. And there was a meme about when you convert to Hillsong to get the free rats. And it was me singing Shackles. That was the most recent.
I love that song. Funnily enough, I've talked about it on this show. I was a Christian. I think at the time that song was released, I had been baptized. They tried to pray the gay out of me. They did a fantastic job at that. But that was our song. Like, that was this hit song in the charts that was selling our religion. Well, sorry, not our religion, our spirituality, our belief system, whatever bullshit we tried to sell to people to get them to come in. And they'd say, I don't do religion. Oh, it's not a religion. It's a fucking religion. Tell you that, it's a business. Anyways.
Yeah, I didn't even know, to be honest. Didn't work on me because I didn't even know it was about religion at the time.
Didn't you? Because you're only 16, weren't you?
Yeah, I was just a sweet 16 that just liked the tune.
Because there was both yourself and Casey And I got to say that season 2, that was the best lineup that we had.
Yeah.
I watched Blackwater Abyss, and you are officially a cinematic final girl. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
That is an illustrious club. It is. So I was surprised.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert. Sorry for anyone out there. I was expecting you to get eaten that whole time.
Were you?
I was. I'd already written that intro beforehand.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. It's a classic tale, though, the cinematic final girl.
It is.
Plus, I had that baby to worry about. I feel like they wouldn't have wanted to kill off the baby. That's another spoiler, but
yeah.
I feel like if you haven't seen it by now.
No, it's I sort of spoilt it for myself because there was one scene where you're about to jump in the water, and I'm pretty cool with horror movies, but I just wanted to know in advance if this was where you were going to get eaten.
Yeah.
And the first thing I accidentally read was something about an affair. And I'm like, oh, great. So you're definitely going to get eaten now because you're the villain, aren't you? You know what I mean? Like, but you both were the final girl. And that was a surprise, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I knew Luke Mitchell was going to go because he's the one that was cheating. Obviously, he was painted as the Lothario, if you will. But the so-called leading female. Yeah, I and then when she got eaten, I thought, oh shit, and you're the final girl. And then she come out of the water and I was so disappointed. I really was. Because why did they save her? Why? Like that was that just completely shit on the trope, because that's what this is, the trope that we have been fighting against for years, isn't it? That look, I don't mean to bring race into it, but it's the pretty white girl who always fucking survives in the end, basically. And
yeah,
that's what, when I saw it, I was like, good on him. Good on, because it's about fucking time. But not only that, the final girl is our guest. So I got really excited. And then she popped out of the water, didn't she? How did that gun go off in the water?
Look, don't ask any questions. I don't have the answers to them.
Depends what kind of gun. Some guns can fire underwater.
A random gun that some dude had in his car. Some bloody... They were all spelunkers.
Was it a handgun?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a handgun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck finding one of those that'll fire underwater.
There's no way that gunpowder, and they bring it out of the thing and they're getting attacked with the car. It was total bullshit. I'm like, just either eat you both or let that other bitch die. Anyways, we're going to move on quickly.
But it's kind of good though, because, I mean, you were surprised at least.
Yeah, but not in a good way. I was disappointed because I wanted you to be the final girl, the only final girl there.
Yeah, I needed someone to help me raise that baby though.
Well, that's true. I don't think she's going to. I don't think she's going to. I think she's taking you to court or something after that.
Yeah.
Or something.
For custody, you think?
I don't know. Anything, she'll find she's coming for revenge. There's a slasher film after that. Yeah.
I don't think she was over it. Yeah.
No.
Still fresh.
No, but anyways, we're going to move on to metal. Have you had much experience with metal?
I mean, I said to you, I don't feel like I know anything about metal or musical theatre. That's why I'd be a perfect guest for this podcast.
Yeah.
But I realised I'd heard Stinkfist before, the first track.
Okay. Yeah. Thought you were reading my Grindr messages for a minute.
Yeah, I feel like actually when I thought about it, there's a bunch of bands that I listened to growing up, especially having two older brothers. So yeah, I'm not averse to metal.
Well, that makes one of us. So Evan this week chose the metal album, and I'm going to quickly run through my review, and then firstly, what would be in your rockstar rider? Your most outrageous rockstar rider, if you could. Like, I'm talking over the top.
Yeah.
Nothing sensible.
Yeah, recently I heard, and I mean it could be bullshit, but it could be true, that Elton John had them recreate a beach backstage for one of his Australian tours. He wanted it to be like the beach. So I would totally steal that. That's amazing.
It sounds true, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sounds 100% verifiable for sure. It was a pretty good source, but I won't out him.
That is awesome. I would want everyone's fried chicken and lasagna recipes, especially from their grandparents.
So do you have to make it though?
No, I just want the recipes so I can look through and decide when I want to make them, which recipe I get to make.
You want all the crew and staff at the venue to hand over their grandmother's recipes.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know how many people will say to you, oh, I make the best lasagna, and they go there and it's fucking old leather. And you're like, nah, man, this is not the lasagna I signed up for. So I want to choose. Thank you very much. I want a choice in that. One person served me lasagna that didn't even have meat. I was so insulted. It had spinach. I'm like, I'm not fucking Popeye for crying out loud. Who does that?
I feel like the carbs are what matter to me in a lasagna.
Yes. And well, I need the meat and the tomato. Lots of tomato. Because if there's not enough, then it just tastes weird. But anyways, I'm going to run through my review because Evan, you chose Tool. If I can find my actual review, that's one page.
Yes, we finally got around to Tool.
Yeah, I was actually happy because I feel like this is an album that everyone talks about all the time. And I finally just had the time to dedicate to listen to it.
Yeah, well, I have lots to say about it. So, would you like to hear my review?
Yeah.
Oh, please, yeah.
When I first saw the cover, I didn't quite know what was happening. But then I saw the track list and immediately track 5 stuck out among a bunch of needlessly vulgar titles, 46 and 2. My numerical OCD tells me this is wrong, but also acceptable. As how do you choose? Does it be track 6 or track 2 or track 40? So I chose to shed all pretense, open my mind to this youthful band, pressed play on the SPO to the Tiffy, and decided to give my review some serious thought. Here's what happened. Track 1, Stinkfist, started, and I thought, But once Eulogy started, I was like, But during track H, titled 3, I thought, But track 4 left me like, as I wondered, what if? Nah, it couldn't possibly be about me. I'm not at all useful. So tracks 5 to 7 were lost in thoughts of my own lack of purpose, which helped me form angsty critical thoughts once the intermission hit. As Act 2 began, I pondered, until track 14 snapped me out of my thought train. Well, more like a roller coaster than a train, but I digress. What was I saying? Oh yeah, it turns out yet again, I've outsmarted these tricksy bands and managed to skip the unnecessary track 14 and its unnecessary noise. But then my eye started twitching as track 15 came into view. Third eye. That makes all 3 eyes twitch. As for the music, I had so many thoughts, but didn't pay attention.
Oh, God.
3.5 stars. I'm kidding. I did. I actually, that wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting something like rah, 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 like even worse than just gra, gra, gra. But that was kind of melodic and experimental and strange. Though the song titles don't impress me. That noise as well, track 14, that can go. Your brother tried that on me, I think, with one of our guests in the past. I don't remember what band it was. I skipped that track. I'm smart enough to know as soon as 30 seconds of white noise plays, I'm smart enough to know that people are being a dick.
Early 90s, it was the advent, and Nirvana did this as well. It was the advent of 5-6 disc CD changes.
Oh, okay.
So people, you load up party music,
yes.
You got your 5 CDs in, and then it hits like 2 minutes of silence.
Yeah.
Just to fuck with those. Nirvana did it on their first pressing of Nevermind. There was only about 10,000 copies, but it was supposed to be across the board. The last track was a good freaking 10 minutes after the track before. Like there was this whopping great chunk of silence purely to mess with people with CD changes. And those are actually quite sought after. They're quite rare and expensive copies now because they only did 10,000 of them. But it was supposed to be everywhere.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we had one that we had 25 and it took forever for it to change over, especially if you put it on random.
Oh, that's so annoying.
Yeah, it was awful. It was I would have to go in and then bring the other one out.
So that's all you got out of the genius of Tool.
I was expecting to hate it. I really was. But I didn't hate it. I had a lot of respect for it. It was a lot better than I was expecting, but it wasn't as good as Primus.
Wow.
Which was the last time I was expecting something that was going to piss me off, but it didn't. I actually kind of enjoyed it.
Wow. See, I would have thought this would fall right into your category of what you call stoner metal, where you come away going, that was trippy as hell.
Well, I said experimental, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you threw that in. And that's certainly what they were going for.
Same area, if you will. I can think of a more smarter word to use. I'm dying of heat in this fucking room right now.
And I'm glad there was a lot of thinking going on, because the at the in the first few tracks where you're just thinking, it is often referred to as your thinking man's metal.
Ah, I was just being a smart ass there. That was just a gimmick for the review, Evan. Goodness gracious me, you know by now. What's one way to give them my thoughts, but not actually give them my thoughts, and that is to think instead of speak. So I'm trolling. Yeah. Anyway, Amali, what did you think of this?
Back in the day, like when Tour would tour Australia and stuff, I remember that their tours would sell out in like 7 seconds and stuff. It was crazy. And their fans are like absolutely obsessed with them. So I knew that they were like a massive cult band. I'd actually never really listened to Tour before, but I kind of was expecting it to be a bit pretentious because of all of everything that I'd heard. But they've got like quite a hilarious sense of humor, and there's a lot of funny sarcasm and interesting lyrics and stuff. I was a fan. I liked it. I wish I could hear, like, I went deep and like started reading about, because from the titles you're like, it's a bit off-putting.
Yeah.
Some of them, like, to say the least. Like Stink Fist and Hooker with a Penis. Like, I was like, I don't know if this is going to be for me. Sounds but it was actually really interesting. Some of the themes and stuff is still really relevant. I was a fan.
Nice.
Now, so I'm with you on that, and that's why I brought up that I wasn't impressed or whatever I said about the song titles, because I like them. If you're going to be vulgar, be clever.
Totally. That's
what you got to be able to appeal to people who like juvenile humor as well as people who like maybe more sophisticated humor. Because if you're going to be able to make the sophisticated person or the pole up their ass person basically laugh with a vulgar joke, then you've succeeded there, in my opinion. That's why the Book of Mormon is so goddamn successful.
You didn't think it was clever that, like, every verse the arm got deeper.
The arm got what?
Well, the first verse it's knuckle deep. The second verse it's elbow deep, and then it's shoulder deep.
I don't know what show you've been on, Evan, but I don't pay attention to lyrics.
Oh, you should have, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Apparently.
It's all about the lyrics. He's so clever.
Sorry.
Yeah, and there's freaking Lateralis has a song called Prison Sex, which is about child abuse.
Mm-hmm.
That actually got pulled. Like, the video for that got banned.
It is still awkward for people to see, no matter how open-minded people are to pop culture and stuff like that. It is, I think, probably worse than murdering somebody, because you're essentially murdering their fucking spirit for the rest of their fucking lives. So yeah, I can see why it was pulled. Basically,
it's about his experience with child abuse, though, isn't it?
Yeah, he's been quite vocal about his hatred of his stepfather, and that's about as far as he's really elaborated. But yeah, well, certainly in that video.
Sorry, Evan, you've dropped out. Oh, you both have, which means I have.
Oh, specifically,
I think I'm back.
Nope,
I'm back.
He's back.
Yeah, you're.
Anyway, we're not talking about prison.
You keep talking, Evan. I'll shut up.
All right. I'll do me Tool bit. Right. We finally got to Tool. Thank God. Tool are fucking legends. Absolute geniuses. I can't love Tool anymore. I've seen them twice. Saw them in 2002 for Lateralis, and I saw them in 2011. I think it would have been Melbourne Big Day Out. We actually flew to Melbourne to go and see them. Let's see. So yeah, this is their second album. 1996, Anima.
Anime.
Technically, it's 3 albums. No, it's Anima. It is.
Anime.
I've watched interviews. They say Anima. Everyone else says Anima. I don't know where you got that from. It's wrong. So yeah, they haven't produced a hell of a lot in their career. Like, they're still going. They've released an album last year. But there's only technically five official studio albums, and then there's a couple of EPs and stuff in between. So they haven't been super productive, although Maynard has gone and does a Perfect Circle as well. So he's been quite busy with that. Yeah. They all sort of haul themselves around. But they were formed in 1990 in Los Angeles. They've won 4 Grammys. The drummer is easily one of the best drummers in the world. He uses polyrhythms a fair bit, where he'll be playing 4/4 on the drums and then be playing 7/8 on the cymbals at the same time. And then that will cycle through until like the 5th bar. It'll all matches up again. He's a fucking genius.
I have no idea what you just said, so clearly I'm not.
And anyone with any musical knowledge would know what I'm talking about.
Right, well, would you like to explain to the morons that are me what that is?
They're very much like Led Zeppelin in that way, where the drummer will be playing a different time signature as the bass player, who'll be playing a different time signature as the guitarist, and they'll all meet in the middle.
Just say Sondheim. If you just say the Sondheim of metal, I
okay,
will
now he knows what I'm
completely
talking about.
understand what you're talking about.
Fair enough.
And so will our theatre audience.
Do you remember a band called Green Jelly?
Yes, Three Little Pigs. Oh my God, I'm so disappointed you've asked this question because I was going to whip out my knowledge of them. They're on my playlists. Sorry, go.
Okay, that's Dana Carey, the drummer, and Keenan, the singer, is in Green Jelly on that track.
Oh, well, I'll have to boost it up to 4 stars then, I think, for that. Yeah, I love that.
But yeah, their whole thing, as I messaged you this morning, they're visual artists as well. If you've ever seen any Tool music videos, which you may have missed, they use a couple of different artists, Cam de Leon and Alex Gray, and they do all the cover work and a lot of the logos, and they contribute to the videos, and it's sort of added to their style. They have their own look and their own thing going on. The Nirvana album In Utero also used Alex Gray's artwork in the muscle structure artwork in the liner notes. He's quite a popular guy for doing album art. But most of the videos are driven by the guitarist Adam Jones, who, funnily enough, worked on Jurassic Park.
Oh, really? I was going to wear my Jurassic Park t-shirt.
Yeah,
Oh.
As I said, there's a link there to one of your favorite films. Adam Jones, the guitarist, went to film school, film college, whatever, and I don't know what capacity he worked for on Jurassic Park, but he was there, modeling dinosaurs or something. So their music videos are just mental, just in general. You're just sitting there going, what the hell is going on? And again, you can research the music videos. They all have meanings behind them and they tell stories. You've just got to dig a bit deeper, but they're always really weird and out there. And then the same with them being sort of visual artists as well. The album originally came with a lenticular lens in the case where you'd pull the liner notes out and slide them in behind it, and you get like these 3D effects. They always put a lot of effort into their packaging, and then the next album had, again, like a skeletal structure. You could layer, like a textbook where you could layer the circulatory system over, and then you could layer the muscle system over. It's all very clever. The album was dedicated to Bill Hicks, who died, about two and a half years earlier of pancreatic cancer, and they sampled him in the last track, Third Eye. There's a line in there about, all those drugs have done good things for the world, all those, and he said something like, if you don't believe that, I want you to go home and get all your albums and burn them, because all those artists that you love were real high on drugs.
Yeah, well, it was the 60s and the 70s. And the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s and 2010s and the 2020s.
Yeah.
Even jazz, they were high as a fucking kite.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Stinkfist got pulled off MTV for being offensive. They edited it, censored it, and then renamed it as track 1 just to play the video. But MTV did that, not Tool.
Oh, okay.
Thoroughly pissed them off.
Well, yeah, don't tamper with a bloody artist's work, people.
Don't mess with it, yeah.
You're going to go paint eyebrows on the Mona Lisa?
You were way off with 46 and 2, by the way. 46 and 2 is about the fact that we have 46 chromosomes as humans. And the theory is, in our evolutionary scale, one day we'll have 2 more chromosomes, the 46 and 2.
What was so wrong about them?
Oh, you were talking about track listings, whether it was number 4, 5, or 2.
No, I didn't say 4, 5. I said 2, 6, or 40. That was the joke. You completely missed it. There is no track 40. None of the jokes landed, clearly. Anyways.
But yeah, well, not on this album, but another thing I think would appeal to you is the actual song Lateralis on the album Lateralis. The number of syllables per line correspond to the arrangement of the Fibonacci numbers. Yeah, so they love their patterns. They love playing with numbers, and like you could deep dive into nearly every song and there's meanings behind everything.
Yeah, even when I was reading about the album, I was like, oh God, this is like scratching the surface. There's so much to this album. Yeah, and I did see a mention of that Fibonacci sequence thing. They obviously love Easter eggs for their fans. I can see why the fans are so rabid. Yeah.
And of course, things like, I think it was the song Anima itself is going on about when the big one finally hits California and it breaks off, or LA breaks off into the ocean, and he'll see you in freaking Alabama Bay.
Arizona Bay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew it started with an A. Yeah. So in the meantime, you better learn to swim. Yeah. The lyrics, he's a genius. The whole band of geniuses, all in their own right. And I did actually really enjoy this week because I went through and listened start to finish the whole back catalogue.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I've heard anyway, but it was nice to hear the progression. Like the first two albums, well, the EP and the first album are really audience-orientated, mosh pit type songs to get the crowd going. But it was with this album, they really sat down and went, we want to create soundscapes and a feeling in each song, rather than please the crowd.
Is that why it went for bloody 70 minutes per track?
Yeah, which funnily enough, I think it was 116 minutes, which guess what, is 2 seconds less than what a CD can hold.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I thought it was only 80 minutes.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, they've done that with nearly all of their albums. Just filled as much music as possible. I think that was about it. They're geniuses. They're fucking legends. I've seen them live. The live show is nuts. They have, contortionists climbing the rigging, tying themselves in knots on stage in gimp suits, and it's all
Theatrical.
very dark and foreboding and
Theatrical.
Very theatrical.
Yet again, theatrical. That's why we do this show.
Yeah, they're visual artists as well as musical artists, and they're just so goddamn clever. But yeah, I went back and listened to the start. So yeah, the first two albums are very quite rocky. This one gets very experimental, and they've continued it on. Really, like the next album, Lateralis, again, has only got a couple of good bangers on it. The rest are sort of experimental sounds, and then it gets worse from there. 10,000 Days, no one was really a fan of because they continued being experimental and weird and nearly, Middle Eastern, Egyptian sounding with tablas and
interesting,
sort of tribal instruments and all sorts of crazy stuff going on. The latest album, they're trying to sort of pull it back a bit, but it's still very much like this. But Anima was the one where they nailed it. It's nice, sort of 50-50 kick-ass, blow the audience away compared to creating soundscapes and interesting themes and ideas. So yeah, Tool, fucking legends. They should have got a 5 out of 5.
Well, they didn't.
Are they your number one?
No, Primus is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I'm more loyal to Primus. I don't know what it is, but just it's close though. It's close.
you shouldn't have almost died that episode then. You would have been there for the 5 or...
Yeah, I know. I missed Primus. That's bullshit. I was in hospital. I finally get to pick something I love, and I ended up in hospital for 3 weeks.
Oh, no.
Yes, be careful what you wish for, kids. That's the lesson in that. Yeah, no, look, I did enjoy it, and as usual, listen to it a fair bit, but I don't know, like, maybe I just needed something a little bit more catchy. Primus was more catchy, and I think that's why that got more excitement out of me. Just like Faith No More, they were kind of catchy as well, without sounding like, I don't know, every Queen song or something.
Yeah, they're still very experimental, but yeah, you've got an audience to play for, and you don't want to get bored and going back to the bar. Certainly the mosh pits of Tool are some of the harshest, mainly because they get really messy, because a lot of people don't know how to mosh to it, lose the timings, and it just ends up as a sea of mess.
See, you need a bit of catchiness.
That is hilarious. They don't know how to dance to the polyrhythms.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's what the boxer Reuben Carter said about the Bob Dylan song that he wrote about him, The Hurricane. He said, it's a great song, but I can't dance to it.
No, God, I've just given you their whole history pretty much. They're very private band. There's not a huge amount of interviews out there. They really do like their privacy, and they're very...
Nope, I've gone.
Very serious. You've gone again.
No, I'm back. No, I'm gone. All right, let's move on because this has been a disaster so far.
Yeah, I pretty much down Tools.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, they were pretty cool. We'll cover them again, I guess.
The only other bit was when they won their first Grammy. The drummer thanked his parents for putting up with him, and he thanked Satan. And then the bass player said, I want to thank my dad for doing it to my mum.
Oh, isn't that sweet?
Beautiful.
That is so sweet.
Lovely sentiment.
Yep.
That's what we want to be thinking about right now. Anyways, I think the tool has been used, which was the worst part I could have possibly prepared to say after you telling that story. Goodness me. We'll be back after the ad break, now that everything is all awkward.
Coming this summer, winter, spring, or fall, the first ever musical theater sitcom, where you go behind the scenes of the latest West End show, the Fosse Forest Ballet.
Where's the important stuff? Aha! £1,000 a week ensemble rate. That's what Mamma Mia likes.
Starring Philip Joel and a West End cast featuring Carrie Ellis, Darren Day, Louise Demon, and Oliver Saville, and more.
It all started in 1987 when I was a jobbing actress working in a diner.
Yeah, it's just I had a really bad experience when I was touring Australia with a wombat.
Darling! Mwah, mwah. La, la. How long have I been mentoring you? 3 months?
2 years.
So her name is Henrietta.
The horse. Yes. I've managed to secure you an audition for the biggest, most innovative, and the latest show to be going into the West End. Joseph and his Technicolor Dreamcoat. Think more along the lines of Pant.
Frozen.
You can watch this episode for the price of a coffee. Simply go to www.thefosseforestballet.com. Any and all profits go back to theatre charities, acting for others, and the Theatre's Trust. You'll laugh, you'll cry, and you'll see a grown man in sparkly tights.
Tight nights. Nice. Tights.
Alrighty, you're listening to Thrash and Treasure. I'm Aaron, that's Evan, and we are joined by the beautiful Amali Golden, Australian Idol and movie star, member of the MCU. She's an Asgardian goddess and everything. Goodness gracious me, remember when you were just a little sweet 16-year-old on our TV screens.
Yeah, it was a big deal back then, but now, like, all the twains and chains, they're a different breed these days. They're ready for the stage.
Yeah. Oh, look, they're what they're ready for is for the attention. Well, they think they're ready for the attention. They want the attention. Whether or not they're ready for it is another matter.
Yeah, every teen's like that. I was like that too.
Yeah. At least you sort of, you had a bit of time between auditioning, getting in, going to Sydney, and then sort of there was at least 4 or 5 months, was it, between that? Actually, I auditioned for that season.
Did you?
I'd gone along to the audition in 2004. We'd been, gotten there really early, but then they ran out of forms. So we got given this sheet to say, thank you, but please come back, right? As we were going to the tram stop, some girl said to us, I don't want to audition. Do you want our sheet? And there was 4 of us. So we went to the news agency, had it photocopied. We got a blue pen. We tried to cover over the stamp because it was grey on the photocopy. And we got there, waited back in line. We got up to the desk finally at maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then we're standing there and everything was fine. And my friend turned around and said, oh yeah, we had to photocopy the other ones because there was only one. And then because myself and my friend, well, there was 2 boys and 2 girls. Me and the other boy, we were punks at the time with mohawks and leather jackets and ripped jeans and tartan pants underneath the ripped jeans and Doc Marten boots. And we got kicked out, whereas the 2 girls got to stay, but we got kicked out.
Oh, what a surprise.
So that was, yes, I auditioned for Australian Idol.
Didn't get through the door.
But I didn't get to. Unfortunately, I wouldn't have got in. I didn't. Yeah. I got through the door. Thank you very much.
Well, you got in the door. Yeah.
Yeah. I got
one foot in the door.
And we're promptly shown the door.
Yeah. I got into the cattle shed. There wasn't enough meat, I guess. So I got put out to pasture. Anyway, so we'll move on because we're going to do the musical now. And that was 2004. And that same year was when Mean Girls came out, which is why I chose this musical. That's pretty much the only reason why I chose this musical.
Is it? Is that the same year?
2004, yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
The film?
Yeah.
I feel like I have to even Google it. I don't believe you.
Yeah, that's fine. Everyone questions me and turns around and says, how did you know that? And that's because I'm a loser.
No. Shit.
18 years old. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
The Mean Girls are old enough to drink in Australia.
That's crazy. What a film.
Yes. No, I know. I'm halfway through it again. I realize it's luckily mean is in the title because there are a lot of really, really mean jokes in there. There's a lot of sort of racial jokes and weight jokes, if you will. I'm not going to say that they're attacks or anything because that's sort of the point of the story. That's the context of them being mean. That's why all the girls have to sit there and go through that whole thing where they're saying who's been mean to each other. And
well, high school can be brutal.
Oh, it can be. My nephew has just started high school, but yeah, so he'll be going into that. But Evan, you dived into this and you had seen the movie before.
Yeah, of course, because I had a
You had moderately good taste.
No, I had a stepdaughter.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
so of course I've seen this film.
Yeah.
Many times.
Oh, it's great. It's so funny.
But no, it's an absolute classic film. And yeah, of course someone's made a musical about it.
Well, they made a movie. Tina Fey did it.
I was getting, I know.
Yeah, sorry, sure.
I was just finding out that, is it Tina Fey? Did she direct the film or write the film?
She wrote the film.
Wrote the film.
Yeah.
And so what was her involvement in the musical? Did she do the music or?
She wrote it.
Wrote the book and then, okay, gotcha. Yeah. So heavily involved.
Yes. And her husband wrote the music.
So yeah, right off the bat, this is excellent.
Yeah. Okay.
This is so well written and so well put together. It reminds me of Book of Mormon in the crafting of the songs. You know, the whole narrative's in there. It's funny. There's no filler. There's nothing made me cringe. The music's clever. The lyrics are clever. The singing is just top shelf. And funnily, the one song that really reminded me of Book of Mormon was Stop, because it reminded me of Turn It Off. It's got that same hook.
Yeah, that's what the one I was thinking of. That comes after Revenge Party, yes?
Yeah.
Two after, yeah. Because Revenge Valley, Fearless, and then Stop. Yeah, because I first saw Stop the first time. I'm like, this reminds me of another musical. And it took me a few days to pin it down. And it was Turn It Off.
A very musical theatre sound.
Each song has its own character and they're all in that classic musical theatre structure. You know, this is up there with, like I said, Book of Mormon. Even, you know, I wasn't a fan of Hello Dolly, but I can hear that sort of classic musical feel to it. Every song is brilliant. Apex Predator really stands out. Sexy, which is talking about Halloween.
I thought they were talking about me.
Piss funny. Even Stupid with Love, you know, they go into like a love ballad and it's funny, it's clever, it's well written, it's well orchestrated. The key changes are clever. Just everything about this thing is awesome. Absolutely loved it, start to finish. It got to the end and I actually went, oh, is that all? And I had to put it on again.
Wow.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow, you don't say that much at all.
No.
You said that about The Lion King.
Because The Lion King's excellent. But yeah, it's the way it's all put together, the way it's written, whoever wrote the music itself.
Yeah, that's Jeff Richmond, Tina Fey's husband.
Right. He's good. He's very good.
He wrote the theme song to 30 Rock and Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Yeah, I mean, even right from the start, where she's telling the story of being in the savannah and the music changes. Every song is excellent.
Yeah.
I could not find a bad song. It's easily a 5 out of 5.
Wow.
Yeah, easy. I loved it.
I'm so surprised.
Loved everything about it. It's clever. Like I said, I'll just be repeating myself. You know, it's clever. It's funny. It's well made. It's well written. It's well played. It's well sung.
You don't have to be nice because Amali wasn't in it.
No.
Or sang on it. So
I know.
He's not bullshitting here at all.
Yeah.
Not that he ever bullshits really, but
yeah. No, this being modern as well is a big tick. Everything is just so much crisper and cleaner and the recording is just absolutely perfect. Loved it start to finish. Not a bad song on it. Everyone is awesome. Everyone has their big notes, their moments to shine. Yeah, it's brilliant. I was blown away by how good it was. Like I said, it's up there with Book of Mormon or, you know, Spring Awakening and fits in with, you know, your classic musicals like your Hello Dollies and things like that. It's just the way it's put together. It's your classic musical. How musicals should be done.
Interesting. I'm surprised. I really am. Turns out maybe you could almost be a cool dad after all.
That's why my notes are so sparse, because for Mean Girls anyway, it was just like I don't need notes. I love it. I love all of it.
You sound like you love it even more than Tool.
Yeah, that was a lot more enthusiastic.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, even Tool have their songs that are a little hard to listen to, and this didn't have anything like that.
Yeah.
There was no, like I said, nothing made me cringe. There were no lyrics where you just slap your forehead and go, "Oh, come on." There was none of that. It was all clever, all the way through. Every verse, every chorus, even to the point of not really reprising. I hate it when they just reprise a song as is and they just sing it again, except with the whole ensemble. Drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Whereas a clever reprise where they'll just do a callback, so much more effective.
Now, Amali, did you enjoy this as much as Evan did? I'm shocked.
I mean, I enjoyed it, but I don't think I enjoyed it as much as you did, Evan. My God. No, I mean, I really enjoyed it and I love the movie. So there's a lot of goodwill already and it's nice to already know the story. I think that definitely helped.
Yeah.
I love whoever's playing Janice. I think she's amazing. I loved her voice.
Barrett.
Yeah, she was great. I felt like she really stood out to me. I liked it. I saw that. So Tina Fey's husband, who did the music for 30 Rock and Kimmy Schmidt and Girls 5 Ever as well, like everything that Tina Fey does. He did the music, but then someone else wrote the lyrics.
That was Nell Benjamin.
Yeah, I just felt like at times, just because I'm a super stan of Mean Girls, the movie, I felt like it lost the comedic tone in some of the songs. I didn't feel like they were as funny as they could have been sometimes.
It's fair.
I mean, they were still funny, but yeah, I don't know. Just they lost a little bit of the edge at times. And I felt like the first half was definitely a lot stronger. And then, I think I just kind of, it got a bit manic towards the end for me.
That's a problem with a lot of musicals though.
Yeah, because they have to keep adding and adding and adding and adding.
And they peaked in the middle with Revenge Party. I had that stuck in my head constantly.
Yeah, extremely catchy. I liked all the songs, but I didn't care for Whose House Is This?
Yeah.
I thought, the casting of Janice was like, she was exactly like Janice from the movie, which I loved.
Yeah.
And Damien was pretty close, and Gretchen Wieners was really close as well. I thought they nailed the characters. I didn't really feel like Katie was as, like, I don't know, maybe I'm probably just too tired to the movie. I mean, I'm expecting a certain thing. But what do you think?
Me, well, I don't like it, to be honest.
Really?
I think there's too much pop. I don't like the pop sound in this. It's not good pop, right? In the staging, there was too much video screens. If I want to watch Mean Girls the fucking movie, I will watch Mean Girls the movie and save myself $150. Goodness me. I didn't think there was any individuality in the character songs.
Yeah.
When a song started, I couldn't immediately tell what character this was about to be or whatnot. And so
I had the same problem.
they all just sounded like young girls and boys to me, really. Oh my God, I suddenly sounded really fucking old. Oh, shit.
Yeah, you did.
It's because you're really fucking old.
Yeah.
You really did.
It saddens me because I think this is a missed opportunity. There is so much love for Mean Girls and there are so many movie to musicals out there, but this being so massively popular and having, I mean, it's got 2 Blondie songs in the soundtrack, even though Blondie doesn't sing the first one, Rip Her to Shreds, which is one of my all-time favorite songs, but they use a cover of it, don't they? And then they use One Way or Another. They could have easily just put that on stage, but they didn't. They took the time to write new songs. So I have respect for that. And I would go see it because quite often what we're hearing on the albums is not entirely how it's going to sound on stage. Not only is it live, which we all know live music sounds different, but there'll be dialogue or there might be a set change in the middle of a song. There might be something that happens that breaks up the song that we're hearing on a CD. So what might be 3 minutes on a CD is actually 5 or 6 minutes on stage with all the staging that goes on. So there's all that to add into it. Although if the staging is bloody video screens, oh my goodness gracious me, I'll just go to the cinema, for crying out loud. That's $10. So I thought like it could have gone down the route of like, I think Clueless is a jukebox musical Another beloved film with a beloved soundtrack. Could have given us something original. Footloose, another one, just using the soundtrack from the movie. Dirty Dancing, same deal. Bleh. No, thank you. But then I look at Hairspray, I look at Billy Elliot and the Full Monty and everything that bloody David Yazbek touches, because the man is a genius. Even Legally Blonde could have been this. It could have just been some cheesy. Well, I think this is cheesy in a way, but Mean Girls, no, it's not so much cheesy. I just don't think it sounds as catchy as what Legally Blonde ended up being, which is something that puts a smile on my face every time because the performances are there. The songs are catchy and fun. I can sing along to them. They're memorable. You're right with Revenge Party being a catchy song, but apart from that, Revenge Party, a party that ends, that's about as far as I get in terms of remembering the lyrics there.
With somebody's head on a spike.
That's it. Well,
because it's a party with a revenge. That's what it's like. I've got it stuck in my head.
Yeah, but that's how much it plateaus for me, as opposed to, again, Hairspray, which the music is fucking amazing. Even Big Fish, I thought that the songs in that are absolutely amazing. I can't really think of any more off the top of my head. You enjoyed Young Frankenstein, Evan?
Yeah, I was going to say Tina Fey is female Mel Brooks at this point.
She is, but the movie is the movie. What I love about it is it's written like a sitcom. Is that there is the 1-2 punch of the setup.
Yeah, there's no missed opportunities.
There is no missed opportunities, but there is also the slapstick comedy, and there is also a mean edge to it, and there is also an innocent sort of point of view with the way we approach it, with Katie coming in from living in Africa, and obviously the ditzy characters, but there's also a really important underlying message, which isn't underlying really. It bashes us over the head quite unashamedly, and it doesn't turn us off like it would normally. So the movie, I think, is one of the strongest comedies overall out there. But the musical, I just thought, no, this is not something I would want to put on again. Not like the first time I heard Hairspray, I was dancing around.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sorry, Evan.
What are you apologizing to me for?
I don't know.
This is a real twist, isn't it?
Yeah, there's only sometimes it just gets completely turned on his head, and he'll love the metal album and I'll hate the musical.
That's the beauty of this show though. Because I talked about I think it was in last week's episode that we recorded, so I don't have no idea when it's going to air at the moment, about turning the sound down while watching a movie, because if you can tell the story that is happening, then they've succeeded in terms of filmmaking, because everything is clear. The acting is clear. You don't need subtitles.
Funnily enough, is what I was doing this morning. I had anime
in
my headphones, and then I just had all of the Tool videos playing on the TV with the sound down.
Oh, no, this is a little bit different because we're talking about a narrative here, but tiny bit different.
You needed to watch some Tool videos. I did tell you to.
Yeah, I know. But the point of watching it was, and I only did it for about 20 minutes, was to see, is this still a funny movie? If I can't hear these punchlines, is this still a funny movie? And it was, because the performances are there, the characters are there, they're defined.
Okay.
Every single character is defined. They're not in this musical, which is why it saddens me that this is a missed opportunity, and it gets 1.5 stars from me.
Oh, that's harsh.
Yeah, I think that's why Janice stood out so much, because she was characterized really well and performed really clearly, don't you think?
Yeah, and Damien, whilst he had that song that is the musical theatre song, with the rest of the album, it didn't fit. Not like Turn It Up or Turn It Off in Book of Mormon, where the rest of the songs in Book of Mormon aren't pop songs. They are musical theatre songs. As Bert Labonte said on the show, they have written a balls-out musical, the purest form of musical. This is,
and that's what I would argue this is.
I don't agree with you there, because I think they are still trying for that pop element, and with all the technology and the video screens, they are trying to appeal to a young audience that I don't think they need to, because the love for Mean Girls is there.
I feel like it was sort of somewhere in the middle. Like it didn't really commit either way. Like some of the songs were quite like classic musical theatre, and then others were sort of pop.
Yeah.
But I think it would have been really strong, like if they made more of a, it's just my opinion, but like if they made a stronger choice and committed to music from that period, like really went with pop from that time, or just went fully musical theatre.
Yes. No, I 100% agree, which is why Legally Blonde
I haven't
works.
seen it. I have to take your word for it.
We are going to do it one day. Eventually, I figure it's Legally Blonde, so Evan will, it'll probably drive him nuts.
I would have seen it many, many times because, I've had a stepdaughter.
True. But that's the movie, not the
of that
musical.
period.
That movie as well is one of those perfect, I think, Australian movies with a budget, because that's not a Hollywood comedy. Legally Blonde is an Australian.
Yeah, it was an Australian director, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's an Australian comedy. That's what that is. It's got that Australian feeling to it. That Priscilla, that Muriel's wedding type, the castle, that real sort of daggy quality to it, I think, that the rest of them have. Yeah. So if you were to give both albums a score, Amali, what would you give them? So I have deciding factor here.
Tool, for me, I appreciate the skill and the lyricism, but I did find it like it was a bit long for me.
Yeah.
I found myself being like, is this finished?
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, so I guess I would say, yeah, I mean, I don't want to enrage anyone, but yeah, like maybe like 3.5 stars out of 5
Yeah.
for me.
You've seriously, you've just been killed by Thanos. I don't think you need to worry about pissing off metal fanboys, Amali.
And then Mean Girls, yeah, I guess I would say 2.5,
Yeah.
3, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's more generous than me.
Yeah, it's probably because we love it so much.
Yeah, there is that. Like, it is one of those movies that gets quoted all the time.
Yeah, 100%.
Those one-liners, those punchlines have worked their way into society's vernacular. And, as I said, there is that deeper meaning of how we treat each other. And it was just disappointing. It really was. So maybe it's better live. I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough to judge. Yeah, it'd be good to see the whole thing.
Yeah, that's it. Oh. Okay, someone's about to go to the toilet. Anyways, we'll move on. I think the burn book is now ashes. No? Okay. Well, we got to...
the burn book. Yeah.
Good on me. Anyways, go back. I'm recording. Well, we're going to hear your wee.
Don't think they care. God.
G'day listeners, Aaron here. While you're topping up your coffees, did you know that you can support our show and go on a fantastically scary adventure at the same time? Go to www.thetonistantales.com/bookstore to grab your copy of The Toniston Tales, a darkly funny Aussie trilogy about a young boy who rescues injured animals in his spare time and the roller coaster ride he's taken on by a literal fish out of water. Written by me, the village idiot of Thrash and Treasure, you'll come to love Toniston Turnbull and the dozens of wacky characters that he meets along the way. And here is a sneak peek. After barely 3 hours of light sleep, Toniston Turnbull slowly opens his eyes, his body feeling heavier than it ever has before. Not from extra weight, from tiredness and stress. Polly sighs in the shadows behind him, the flame of the nearest barbed wire tiki torch tower having died down, but not out, while Toniston napped. "Are you awake?" Toniston whispers. "Oh, how can I sleep in this place?" Polly moans, turning onto her side and facing Toniston, who stays on his back, imagining obscure animal-esque shapes in the rusted tin roof above them, shadows faintly formed by the nearest dying torches. "We need to work out a way to get out of here," Toniston states the obvious. He whispers despite the fact the nearest shacks to their own are several meters away and the occupants presumably asleep, as most prisoners seem to be. "How? There's no fence to squeeze through or even climb," Polly replies, sitting up in bed and then stretching out her sore arms. The hairs stand on end from the slight chill in the air. "I don't know, but I think the whole fighting thing is a distraction." "You mean to distract the other prisoners when new ones arrive?" No, I think that was just bad timing. Didn't you notice? Toniston goes on to explain his theory. That fight happened, everybody gathered around. I didn't see one person who wasn't watching, and then when I vomited, the only gate in this place closed shut. What are you trying to say? I think something happened when everyone's back was turned. Like what? Whispers Polly, her voice breaking up in fear. I don't know. That's what we've got to find out. Toniston's brain starts working overtime, but it's strange that nobody seems to want to leave. They seem almost happy. Definitely content. So, when's the next one of those stupid beatdowns? Toniston can't help but think Polly looks tough, almost evil in the shadows as she asks, I don't know, Toniston begins. But both teenagers are distracted by a crumbling noise in the distance. Hopping out of bed, Toniston joins Polly on her own, equally uncomfortable one, spotting a large, white package hovering close to the cave ceiling, behind it a shadowy figure. The package is lowered down, causing the teenagers themselves to lower as well, hoping not to be spotted by whom or what may be operating this obscure crane. Over a long, slow descent, the package is dropped to the ground. Polly keeps her eyes on it, but Toniston looks up immediately, spotting a large black shadow scurry away to God only knows where. Come, he whispers, as he quietly hops off her bed, slipping into his docks with bare feet. Polly follows his lead. Careful to keep watch on all directions, the teenagers swiftly sneak over to the white package, their hearts beating an almost tribal jam in perfect harmony, and stopping in their tracks as the sudden realization of what lies before them sinks in. A woman, seemingly in her early 20s, wrapped up in bandages from the neck down. No, not bandages. Is that spider web? Polly asks, completely mortified at the prospect. Grab your copy of The Toniston Tales from thetonistontales.com/bookstore today. Hooroo! Anyways, we're back with Thrash and Treasure. I'm Aaron, that's Evan, and we are joined by the amazing Amali Golden. Every single time, I don't know why I've known you as Golden for maybe 7 years now. How long you've been married? Goodness, about 7 years?
Yeah, seven years, yeah.
Yeah, I still go to call you Amali Ward.
Yeah, well, you know.
See, I ended up completely backwards. I was, doing research. I'm like, who's this Amali Ward?
Oh,
What?
yeah.
I thought it was Amali Golden. Maybe it's a stage name.
I know, it sounds like a stage name.
Yeah.
But you probably wouldn't make up something so obvious.
Yeah, but it's perfect. To come from Asgard, that's just gold all over.
Yeah, it's ideal.
Which is probably the one thing I didn't like about any of those Thor movies was the CGI gold. It does not work in movies. Hollywood, stop doing it. It looks ugly. My goodness me, I don't think so. It doesn't come up nice. It either looks yellow or it would just look brown. It never looks.
That's such a specific criticism.
Oh yeah. Well, you should have heard me last week because actually your episode's gonna air before his. We've got an actor from Eternals coming up, and there was something in that movie that drove me nuts.
Oh, you're one of those. You're one of those people.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm one of those people. Everything could be really crazy. Shang-Chi, loved every minute of it until
Loved it.
Yeah, but when Awkwafina shot that bow and arrow from the ground and got the fucking dragon up in the sky, I was like, nah, I'm out. That's completely impossible. No, everything else.
Like I said,
fine.
you must have gone to the bathroom during the training montage.
Yeah, exactly. She had about 5-10 minutes of solid training.
Yeah.
Solid.
And dragon armor. That's
stumbling.
Get your points for something.
Got to count for something, yeah.
Yeah.
That was
plus
not
10 armor.
That was not a Joe Esposito, you're the best around Karate Kid moment. That was terrible training. And even as the battle started, her trainer didn't want to let her go out onto the battlefield. He knew she wasn't ready. And yet somehow she managed to shoot. No, that arrow was either...
Look, stranger things have happened.
That arrow had superpowers. Yeah, I know stranger things happen. It's the Marvel universe, but she's not a superpowered character. That's what I just... Yeah, and it bugged me about it now. But you were, because Asgardians are super powered regardless. But of course, your character name was Scourge's date. I'm like, no way. So did you give yourself a character name?
I didn't know. I was Asgardian Date, number 2.
Yeah.
Number 2, yeah, I saw that.
Number 1, because when you first see you two, you are center screen. The other one is off to the side. So you are number 1 there because your eye first goes to you.
Yeah, no. I mean, I appreciate it, but on the contract said different.
I've named you Fabulisa.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, the other one doesn't have a name because she is date number 1, apparently. No, not in my books. Okay, now hypothetically, let's just say you did survive, your character, Fabulisa, as we're calling her now, survived the attacks from Hala and Thanos, and you settled on Earth, but did you survive the blimp? Would you have survived that, or did you disappear for 5 years?
She's already been through so much. Can't she survive the blip?
Yeah.
Can't we give her that?
Yeah, we'll allow her that. Now, I'm curious because obviously that's a lot of green screen.
Yeah.
And that scene in particular where they were is obviously a lot of CGI being used. To what extent was there set? Was there any? Obviously, you were sitting on something.
Yeah.
But was that actually painted or was that green screen?
Oh, yeah. That was a whole set.
Yeah?
Yeah. That was a whole set. But then obviously the dragon was green screened. The slime was real. Yeah, they shot it out of a cannon.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So the glamorous world of film.
Yes. It looks like paint, clearly, but obviously it would be safe, I would.
It was like some kind of cornflower
Yeah.
slime thing, I think. Yeah, edible.
Yeah, because the costume obviously wasn't simple. There was detail in it.
Oh, yeah. It was crazy. Like the attention to detail in those movies is so insane.
Yeah, that's why I ask.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure they had like 6 copies of that, obviously because it had to get covered in slime.
Yeah.
And it was so detailed, and our hair and everything was like, it took ages to do. And because they have so much to do on those sets, like there were a couple of days where we got into full costume and hair and makeup and everything, and then we didn't even end up getting called to set because they ran late with something else. Yeah, it was just a pretty amazing machine to be part of.
That's why I ask about it, because the attention to detail is there and you see it in the film, and you can tell when, maybe not the normal person out there, but you can typically tell when material like clothing in a film or TV looks cheap.
Yeah.
And it never looks cheap. All these Asgardian costumes that they had to make.
Oh, yeah.
For all the extras and all that.
It's insane.
I've actually wondered, and I've noticed it with the costumes in a lot of Marvel films, not just the main characters, but side characters as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing that the weave of the fabric is intentionally open, big. I'm not a seamstress, I don't know the terms, but in order that, the camera, even if I'm watching it in measly old 1080p, I can still see the weave in the material. So like in real life, is it, I don't know, more open than it would normally be in a normal shirt sort of thing?
I don't know actually, but I know that like all of those details are considered, and it's pretty amazing. Like they're just so good at their jobs, like every single person on those productions. But I honestly, I don't know about that, but it was Lux, whatever they made it out of. Like they they wanted it to look, royal, and it did.
Yeah, see, it was something I've noticed with Fantastic Beasts, the costumes in that. Like all the collars are really fat and all their cuffs are really fat, just so you can see the weave curve around this cuff. I'm sure they're getting custom material for it.
Well, yeah.
Oh, for sure.
They make everything. They're not going to Kmart.
It's not off the rack.
No.
Yeah.
Definitely not off the rack. It was an Australian costume designer. I can't remember on Thor, because I know it was on Shang-Chi.
I actually can't remember now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like they go from these productions like all around the world. Like I'll be working on some Marvel thing here, and then it's in London or whatever. But I can't remember now, to be honest. I was a bit overwhelmed at the time.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's funny because for Christmas, my nephew got me this big, beautiful Loki mug. On this side of it, it's got the Loki logo painted in gold.
Oh, that's sweet.
Like, look how huge that is. It's the size of my head.
Mm.
And when I first got it, like I always do, put it in the dishwasher, and it took the logo off on Christmas morning.
On the first day.
First day I got it. Merry Christmas to me.
That's so sad.
I was so disappointed there because who doesn't want to wrap their lips around Loki? Anyways, we're going to move on. Now, who would be in your VH1 Divas Live lineup?
Okay, so how many do I get?
5.
Okay, all right. Aretha Franklin?
Aretha, yeah.
Yeah, she's a pretty big deal. Whitney Houston.
Yep.
Beyonce. 5. Do I need 5?
Well,
Those 3? I don't know. I'm happy with 3.
yeah. That'd be a pretty full-on concert, just the 3 of them. Definitely.
Yeah.
Moving on. X Factor.
Yeah.
You got through to, I believe, the home rounds, the quote-unquote home rounds, which I'm sure it wasn't Red Foo's home
No.
that they were inviting you into, but they send you all the way to Las Vegas and you got eliminated. How was that? Turning around, coming back. Evan thinks this is a stupid question because he's like, well, who wouldn't want to go to Vegas? But when your hopes and dreams have just been pulled away from you, Evan, to have to fly 19 hours home, that can't be a good feeling, surely.
That's a long flight. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a long flight. I mean, it's both. I mean, I was disappointed at the time, but yeah, I was chuffed to get a free trip to Las Vegas. It would have been nice to continue, but it's not the end of the world. Like, I didn't feel like it was like my career ending. I guess it would be worse if going all the way to the Bachelor finale or something with someone that you think you're in love with and you're about to start your life with, and then flying back from Fiji or wherever. That'd be much worse. Yeah, so I feel like on the scale of reality rejection, it's not that high.
Yeah, and a couple, like literally 2 years later, you are on a film set for Thor Ragnarok of all movies.
Yeah, I think it was probably kind of good because it probably made me reevaluate whether I wanted to keep doing the same thing or not. And then I just discovered that I love acting, so it kind of all worked out in the end. And
obviously you'd had enough experience in front of the camera because we had seen you on a few commercials every now and then. You'd pop up.
Yeah. Commercials are fun. I've done some pretty fun ones.
I do remember there was one, I can't remember what it was, I think it was, did you sing or there was something?
Oh, yeah, I did one for Amy where I sang What About Me?
That's right.
Yeah, that wasn't one of my best ones.
No. That was a whole bunch of people singing, wasn't it?
Yes. Yes, I think so. Can't remember now.
Yeah, it just in terms of X Factor, did those mentors actually mentor you guys? Because I think it's a load of codswallop, if you ask me. Like, it's all just for the camera.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's right. Like, it's not like, it's very manufactured, obviously, like all of these shows are now. I think it's kind of interesting because it was very different. It was like 10 years after Idol. So reality TV's evolved so much since then, and now it's kind of like a well-oiled machine. But back when we were on Idol, we did choose our own songs. Like, you could literally choose any song, so a lot of the songs were really obscure sometimes, but now it's kind of like, it feels like the producers have a list of 100 songs that are always on shows.
Yeah, they do,
and you always see people singing the same song. So I definitely miss that element of those shows when you really got to know that person as an artist and what they actually liked, because you don't get that same choice now.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Which is what I actually, off topic, and I can hear Evan groaning already, what I like when they do on Drag Race, split up the entrance episode. So you get like 6 or 7 on one episode and you get 6 or 7 on the other one.
Yeah.
Because then we get to learn who they are.
Yeah, look, I don't watch any reality shows at all.
Having said that.
But having said that, my wife does love Married at First Sight.
Oh, Godfathers.
Okay.
And they do that.
Yeah.
Where they introduce 2 couples per episode. So the introductions take like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But yes, otherwise you would just get a barrage of characters and you don't get to know any of them. And then you don't care about any of them and you switch off.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see why it's necessary, really.
That's producers tightening the screws so that they're in control of the output. That's all it is. They're worried that audiences lose faith, so they tighten the reins and bring the show in. And with song choices, it comes down to money at the end of the day. So they will go to certain record companies and say, can we have a certain amount of songs for a discount price, or however they do it. This is the layman's terms, if you will. And they make deals, basically. So that's why there's a list of songs.
But it's not like they're cheap songs. Like, they're always like massive hits. It's just you get sick of saying the same song. So like can only be sung in so many ways. A lot of those ones.
Yeah.
Actually reminds me of, I remember reading somewhere about Home and Away, where the show itself has a deal with only one record label, so all the songs in the Bayside Diner were all from the same label.
Yeah, to be the same publisher. I think and Neighbours was the same.
In terms of acting, I am so proud. I really am to see you, because that season in particular, like season 1 of Idol was pretty cool, but season 2 was, I just thought, incredibly strong. Also yourself, because you were top 10 and you have gone on to this amazing blossoming career.
Oh, thanks.
That is going from strength to strength. As I say, you've just become a final girl that is an illustrious group of characters to be in. But what was your first major lesson that you learnt on set in terms of acting, not reality?
Before I actually decided to go into acting, I was on Neighbours. They cast me to come on as myself. So that was when I was Amali Ward. So singer-songwriter Amali Ward comes to town, and it was this whole storyline where Paul Robinson gives me this song, but he's stolen it from this other girl and she didn't want to give it up. And then I find out the truth and I confront Paul Robinson, and we had a couple of scenes, me and Stephen Dennis, who plays Paul Robinson.
Yep.
Yeah, he gave me my first bit of acting advice, which was to close my mouth when I'm listening, because I was just standing there like gaping like a fish. So he was like, oh yeah, it might be good, very nicely, but that was actually very helpful advice. And it's so funny when I watch that now, like, because I just hadn't done any acting training at that point, and then I thought, how hard could it be to play myself?
Oh, it's hard.
But the answer is it's hard. Yeah, because I was terrible.
I have to do it on this show when my audio is terrible. I have to re-record the ADR.
Oh, yeah.
But I have to make it sound like it's exactly the same as it was, or it sounds completely different, like in The Simpsons.
Yeah, Camp Krusty. They're like, Mr. Black.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and it is hard because you're not in that natural flow of conversation that you normally are mid-sentence.
Yeah, no, I had to do a lot of ADR for Blackwater Abyss.
Yeah.
Like all those final scenes, because the water was so loud, because it was splashing around, we had to re-record all of that. And like, I was like hysterically crying because I thought my friend was dead. So I had to like do that again in the booth. Like that was really challenging. The next day I'd completely lost my voice.
How much location shooting was there on that? Because obviously a lot was studio.
Yeah, it was like a week of location stuff in that river. It was like the coldest day in Brisbane in 4 years or something. And it was a freshwater river. Like it was freezing.
So that screaming was real, basically.
Yeah, the environment helped a lot, for sure.
Method acting.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, when that car drove off, I laughed when you swerved off the road. I'm like, of course. It was too... I know filmmaking, and I know the tone, and I know when a film is finished. And I knew this was not finished. Something is going to happen. And as soon as we see the road and it's blocked off and that car swerved off, and I'm like, those stupid bitches, of course they do, like end up in the fucking water, don't they? And then the crocodile, which a minute ago was in the cave, is suddenly now in the bloody lake. But the whole movie, I was actually sitting there shouting at you guys, just poke it in the fucking eye, blind it, just blind it and then kill it.
It's too dark. It was too dark.
Not true. Now, what is the scariest creature that you have swum with in real life, not in a movie?
Oh, in real life, in grade 6, I think it was, we went to New Caledonia and there was a stonefish in the water. That was pretty scary.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they'll mess you up.
Yeah, they're pretty deadly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Evan? Have you ever swum with anything crazy besides your brothers?
No, other than the usual, stung by a random jellyfish.
Yeah.
No, nothing I can think of.
I've done stingrays and sharks, but the sharks were tiny, so they were just big fish, really.
I actually no. Well, I wasn't swimming, but in New Zealand, I would have been about 4 or 5, I guess. Dad had a boat, and they would go fishing every chance they got, and it was a decent sized boat, so they could go a couple of k's out. And yeah, one day he pulled this bloody stingray on board, and it was enormous. And it was like, kids, get down, get in the bunks, get away. This enormous bloody stingrays flopping all over the deck.
It's crazy.
Oh, fun.
So they're pretty scary, but I wasn't in the water.
Yeah, but they're beautiful.
Well, you got to chuck it back, obviously, but you have to pull it up to chuck it back.
They're only scary because of Steve Irwin. That's the only reason why.
Yeah, that's very, It's a nationwide trauma.
Yeah.
They're big and angry when they're out of water.
We were in Moorea, which is Tahiti, basically. It's an island near Tahiti. And it is, look it up, it is like the most fucking gorgeous place on this earth. It is paradise. So if I was going to die anywhere, I was completely fine dying there. It really, like, why not? I was more worried about missing the ship because we had to get back there by 6 o'clock. Or they would have sailed away without us and we would have been stuck in Moorea, which probably wouldn't have been as fun. And yeah, anyways. Well, okay, you obviously had your solo album Back in Time, which you released nearly 10 years ago now.
I know.
Sorry, I was looking on Spotify. Is it under your old name then?
Yeah.
For God's sake. That's annoying.
Yeah, it is annoying.
Because, I was looking around. I was trying to find more stuff and I'm going, why is there only one song here?
Yeah.
And then I found more on YouTube and that's where I realized the name had changed. But yeah.
You should be able to change that.
Yeah, I know. I don't. It was released as Amali Ward, like that's what it is on the front.
Yeah, true.
It's just yeah. What are you gonna do?
Well, put a track on there that's called Amali Golden so that it will come up in search.
Oh yeah, now we're getting somewhere. Well, yeah, I probably just need to have a better website.
But any plans to record a new one?
2 years. It's been 2 years now. Yeah, wow, it's crazy. I released an EP in 2019 as GOLDS, so that's my new music project, which felt like enough of a departure. And I had a new name, so I was like, I may as well just have a pseudonym as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I do plan on doing some more stuff as GOLDS. But I've just been busy. I had a baby.
You did.
And that's been taking up a lot of my time with her.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Oh, how old?
She turns 1 next week.
Oh, wow. Oh, adorable. Because I do remember when you posted the photo and it was you sitting on a fence and Bo had his hand on your stomach. And I was like, oh, yay.
Oh, yeah.
So excited. So I'm like, these two are so gorgeous. They're going to have the most adorable children. I hate them both for crying out loud. Some of us are single. But anyways, I've come to the end of my questions. So yes, we won't keep you any longer because obviously we've had some problems for those at home. It's been a disastrous recording. I'm dying in this room. The internet has dropped out. I lost my notes. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. And of course there was Evan. But no, you did a good job today. And I cannot believe that you liked Mean Girls, the musical.
Love Mean Girls.
The most.
Mean Girls is excellent.
Yeah.
Wow. I am gagged and gooped.
Yeah, no, it's great. Occasionally, some weeks you'll give me something I like, and I get to listen to Tool all week and a musical I actually like. So it's not so much of a chore.
But I don't always get stuff that I like.
Yeah, I don't try to give you things you like.
Yeah, no, that's not the point of it. Try to give me stuff that's going to open my mind and educate me and piss me off at the same time.
I just gave you Tool. And he's whinging. God.
Yeah, I know. And it didn't piss me off, did it? So you failed there. No, but I did enjoy it and I appreciate it. And I gave it 4 stars because of the green jelly connection. Now, just actually lastly, are you going to be following the upcoming revival? I don't know why Channel 7 is buying all of Channel 10's old shows. What are they doing? But they're doing Australian Idol.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. They said that. That was a while ago that they announced that, but I haven't heard anything new about it. I mean, look, I probably won't be, to be honest. I think it gives me flashbacks when I watch these shows now. I think I've had my fair share of them. Like, more power to everyone involved, but yeah, I've had enough.
And who the hell has the time, really, to invest in hours and hours and hours? We're 40 hours of freaking telly a week.
I'm too busy watching Drag Race.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, well, that's Drag Race, though. That's allowed.
Yeah.
But and at least Drag Race has gone from strength to strength and they're listening to the audience. Idol didn't.
Yeah.
Idol didn't. And even in America, as the show went on, they took away more and more things that the audience liked. And one of the things that I always had time for, that I always appreciated and why I liked the show, was that the semi-finals were just you guys and a piano. There wasn't an audience. There wasn't any big major spectacle. It was an audition.
Yeah, totally.
You guys auditioned for us. And that's what I liked about it, just because that's what it felt like. It felt like going into an audition with a piano. And yet they don't do it anymore.
That I would watch.
Yeah, and it was about the contestants. Like, now it's about the personality of the judges.
Yeah, and branding.
Yeah, it's lost its, I don't know, like, I just feel like back in the day, it was so fresh when we were doing it. I don't know. It's hard to recreate that kind of like excitement as well because it was a new format back in the day. But I'll definitely be curious.
So I'll watch the first episode, and if they can get me with that first episode, then I might watch it. Maybe
You'll watch it.
possibly. I'm not traumatized by getting kicked out back in 2004.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it's a funny memory. But no, look, we're getting 15 seasons of Drag Race this year, so
That's perfect.
I'm going to be absolutely fine. And again, thank you so much for letting us, for those at home, Amali let us use her wonderful song Knock You Out, which is for a podcast that we had done a year ago. And well, over a year ago now, and then it got 5 episodes in and we stopped. One of us fell pregnant and the other one moved across the country, and Thrash and Treasure took over. So
yeah, it's for the best. I mean, there's like 1,000 Drag Race podcasts.
Yeah, there is. So
all right, it's crazy.
Sounds like there's 1,000 different Drag Race shows.
There are,
is.
and it's still not enough for me.
No, it's not enough for me either. Who's going to win this season?
No, I can't bag it because I haven't seen any of them. So
Oh, it's great.
You've got to. We'll do a podcast. You can edit it. Where I'm going to make you watch every episode of Drag Race. But we'll have to do something with it.
Yeah.
They can't just be one of those shows because that's what they're all are. They're all just recap shows, which is what we didn't want to do with ours.
Yeah.
We wanted it to be something fun and funny and irreverent and rude and in your face and exactly what drag is. That's yeah. But who is going to win season 14? I'm going to write down your guess.
Look, I don't know if they will actually win, but my favorite is Cornbread for now.
Cornbread, yeah, she is fabulous.
Yeah, I loved her original song. It was so good.
Yeah, I'm on the Willow Pill train.
Oh, yeah. But her name is so annoying to say.
It is, isn't it? But yeah, and we've got Celebrity coming up. We've got UK versus the world. They're currently filming in New Zealand at the moment. Anyways, thank you so much.
yeah, thank you so much.
No, thanks for having me. It was fun.
Pleasure.
Yes, it's been a disaster. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Anyways, you go. You got a child. So all right, thank you so much.
Thanks. This was fun.
Anyways, a huge thanks to Amali for joining us. What a wonderful person and talent she is. It is so remarkable watching her career blossom right before our very eyes. Anyway, she had to run off. Obviously, she's got a child, so you can find her on the socials under @Amali Golden, and be sure to check out her music, which you'll find under Amali Ward, Amali Golden, and GOLDS. And you can find us at Thrash and Treasure on Twitter, Facebook, at Thrash and Treasure Podcast on Instagram. And if you look up Blooming Theatricals, you'll find I'm also putting all these episodes online as videos with no video because nobody needs to see me looking like a rat at 3 o'clock in the morning, which has been at least one of the times we've recorded. Anyway, we're going to leave you with Golds' new single Drip. So take care, and we shall see you next time. Hooroo!
Thank you.
See ya.
I'm taking baby steps to where I'm going. Trying to get old feelings flowing. I'm taking baby steps that I don't know. Putting blood back in my toes. if you